Hello, my first grade friends. We have recently been working on the artist Henri Matisse, who I like to call the Wild Beast. Henri Matisse was known as the Wild Beast because he was a Fauvist painter. As we look at his pictures, we're going to see that some of his colors aren't quite natural. Looking at this self-portrait, we see some greens on his face. People usually do not have green tones as their skin. However, Henri Matisse liked to choose colors that weren't quite natural for his pictures. For this lesson, we're going to learn how line and shape are used together to create form. Looking at his goldfish painting here, we see that there are different shapes in his pictures. Notice those ovals, notice those straight lines. We're going to learn how to put those lines and shapes together to create different forms.
Hello, boys and girls. Last week, Miss Capitini was working with you guys on Henri Matisse and his window paintings. This week, we're shifting gears and we're going to look at one of his fishbowl pictures. With this painting, we are learning how lines and shapes work together to create separate forms. So we're going to be working on creating our own fishbowl painting. With this picture, you can walk through step by step with me, or you're welcome to change little things as you go through to make it really truly yours. It's okay if yours looks like mine, but it's okay if yours takes another direction and yours looks a little bit different. So what we're going to do is we are going to grab that green sketchbook that you got from the district and grab a pencil. Let's find a nice blank page in our sketchbook and we're going to be ready to start. On this page, we're going to start with the fishbowl first. When we start, we want to start about halfway down the page. If you're too high, you're not going to have room for plants. If you're too low, you're not going to have room for the fish. So you want to start about halfway. With the fishbowl, start with a nice, flat, squishy oval that goes almost all the way across the page. Notice that I can only fit just a few fingers in here. My oval is not so small that I can fit my whole hands on the side. After you're done with the oval, we're going to make two straight lines that go down on the edges. So we're going to drop down on both sides. Looking at the bottom though, I left some space down here because the bottom of your fishbowl should actually be a curved line like this. When you curve that line, it gives some depth to your oval and it makes your cylinder look like it's 3D, like it's popping out at you. Once you're here, you're going to draw the table. I'm going to start about midway down on my bowl and I'm going to draw a diagonal line to the edge. And on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing, another diagonal line all the way to the edge. This gives me a table that my fishbowl can sit on. Once in here, we're going to start adding different types of plants. With the plants that you add, really, truly, they're up to you. If you looked at the picture, you noticed that he had all kinds of flowers and all kinds of plants that are in the background. One thing that he had is some plants that almost look like upside down hearts. When you make your lines for your plant stems, be sure that you're drawing two lines. You don't want to just make one line that looks like this. You want to make a second line so that way it shows the thickness of the stem of the plants. Now up here, my plants are actually overlapping my fishbowl, so I erased out the inside. Down here, it's going inside of the bowl, so I left this line because this line is actually in front of the plant. So as I go through, I'm going to make some just various stems that are coming up and out of my fishbowl. They don't have to connect and have two coming off. You can if you want to. You can even have three if you want to have three that are coming off. With this again, I'm erasing the lines that show that the plant is in front of the fishbowl here. Notice too, I did not take these plants all the way down to the bottom. I do want to leave room for the fish in here. At the top, my plants are going to be kind of like upside down hearts like this. If that shape is hard for you to draw, you are welcome to turn your page around. So when I turn my page around, it's like I'm making a right side up heart. Now this heart is actually going to fall going behind this other plant here. So notice what I did. It's kind of a little trick. I'm overlapping here. So I made my plant going behind this plant. Okay? So I'm going through, I'm making those upside down hearts. Again, If you want to make your plants differently, you are welcome to do different types of plants. It is your picture, but you do want to have some plants that are coming up off the edge. Maybe even if I want, I can have, even some flowers or something like that. So maybe even I'll do one more coming over here. And maybe even this one is actually, it's going to be a flower. So I'm going to make some nice, kind of like a daisy here. It's going again. It's going to be behind that other plant. And look at this. It's going off the page. If your plants or really anything goes off the page, no big deal. You're just showing that life exists beyond the edge of your paper. Okay, so I'm not saying that everything is right here. Once I have my plants done, and again, you can add more plants and flowers if you want, I'm going to create a wavy line to show that there is water inside of my bowl here. Notice every single step I've done, I've used different lines and shapes. I have wavy lines, I have straight vertical lines, I have diagonal lines. I also use shapes. I have hearts, I have circles, I have ovals. Okay, so looking at your picture, you're looking to see how do those lines and shapes work together to create your picture, to create that form. All right, moving on, I'm gonna start the fish now. Really, truly, you can make your fish any way that you wanna make your fish. But I do want you to have one that's going sideways and one that's coming forward, so that way we can learn the different perspectives of how the fish swim. If a fish is swimming sideways, I'm gonna start with 2 curved lines, just like this. And then I'm gonna take and I'm gonna make a letter C on this side. So I've got 2 curved lines and a C. On this side, for the mouth, let's close it off a little bit here. I'm gonna make a number 3, so it actually looks like the little lips there. Once done, I'm gonna curve on the top. I'm gonna curve on the bottom. 2 curved lines, just like rainbows. Like this one's like a rainbow, and this one's kind of like a smile or a banana. Now on the side, I'm going to add my fin on the side. It's kind of like a letter C. And I'm gonna add the eyeball. And then I'm gonna make little C's for gills, okay? You can go in, and if you wanna make, some texture on here, you can. If it's a different type of fish, you can add, different spots or stripes to your fish, whatever you wanna do. My fish that's swimming forward though, watch this. He's gonna look like a tall, skinny football. I know that sounds weird, but at the same time, that's what he's gonna look like. I'm gonna start with 2 curved lines, like a tall, skinny football, just like this. From here, I'm gonna make letter C's on the side. It kind of looks like he's got big ears, but those are actually his fins that are coming out there. The top then, I'm gonna make almost like a mountain, and the bottom almost like a letter V. Notice these 2 fins are the same. These 2 fins are the same. These side fins, they are the same as well, okay? It's just that now I've taken my fish and I've made him going this way. He's coming towards me. Once here, I'm gonna add my eyes. Look at that. He's just looking right at you. And then I'm gonna give him a little mouth here. You might see a little bit of the gills, but at the same time, they might be more on the side of your fish. By all means, if you want to add details, you can add like bubbles coming up and out of the fish. This way, if I want to put some bubbles in there. Sometimes I get kids that, they want to do rocks, or gravel, down at the bottom of their fish tank. I'm just kind of loosely sketching mine. If you want to do more detail, you can. You could even do like a little sunken treasure or a fish house or something like that. It's up to you. It's your world. You create. Sometimes too, I get kids that want to take plants that maybe, part of the plant was dying and it actually like fell off and came down here on the table. So maybe I've got like a leaf that is falling. In the background, he has a lot more flowers and plants. We could abstract it. Abstract means you're just kind of showing a little bit of detail what's there. But in the background, I'm gonna make a whole bunch of circles to look like these are the plants that are growing in the back. Now notice I'm varying the size, and again, some are going off the page because I'm just showing that life exists beyond the edge of my paper. If you wanted to, you could create some of these into more plants. Like I could make more daisies. Maybe I've got some daisies that are coming up, over here in the background. Maybe this is, creeping up here. Add some texture to the middle. It's up to you. I could add more plants in the background if I wanted to, or other just texture. Maybe even my table. Maybe I don't want it plain. Maybe I want my table, to have like some texture to it. So I'm going to create, some stripes here. Maybe like it was like a circle that went round and round and round on my table. Again, totally up to you. It's your choice. It's your world. So for today, what we're going to do is we're going to draw this picture. Next time when we come back, we're gonna start working on the coloring of it. Please don't start coloring today because we're gonna do mixed media. If something is mixed media, it means you're using more than one thing. We might Sharpie it, we might use crayons, we might use markers, colored pencils, maybe even you do collage. Henry Matisse loved collage, so maybe you wanna cut things out, and glue them on here so they're 3D. Maybe you even have some glitter pens, I don't know, and you want to embellish this with some glitter on here. Truly, it's your choice, it is your world. Hopefully you enjoyed the steps on how to create your Matisse fishbowl, and you've seen how we use different types of shapes and different types of lines to create your picture. So today you learned that you can use different types of lines and different types of shapes to create a form. Have fun!